Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome to another tier list maker video. Yeah, we're a tier list channel now. Nah, I'm kidding. We're not that quite yet. But I figured might as well dive into some Nicktoons, something that I've watched very consistently over the course of my life, even with the horrors of my childhood, not being able to watch a lot of these childhood favorites at my house and during my childhood and all that. Probably some for good reason, but yeah, some I don't know why. Anyway, though, we're just gonna dive into all of them. Unlike Mr. Enter, I've watched most of these, and the ones I haven't watched, I'm gonna put under didn't watch, and I'm gonna be upfront about that. So roasted. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get into this. You know the rules, S through F, and then didn't watch, and we're gonna go into every single cartoon that Nick has created specifically for Nickelodeon, not necessarily Nicktoons Network. You're not going to see the Fiends, Fun with Fiends or whatever show and all that, even though it would probably be A tier if it was on here. But we're strictly going toward the Nickelodeon Network here, not Nicktoons Network or anything like that. Anyway, starting out strong, Bunsen is a beast. Oh gosh, this is the latest that Butch Hartman has created. He's the man we all know and love who created Fairly Odd Parents. And yeah, I've seen every episode of this show. It is the most annoying thing I have seen in a while. Not the most annoying thing I've seen in a while. We'll get to that because we're just starting out strong. I put these on a random thing. It's not even... I don't know why it's like this. But anyway, yeah, we're starting out strong. This one's really hyper annoying. The animation is just really cookie cutter and really, for some reason, just awful. There's a sound effect for literally every movement, and it's very annoying, and it gets annoying even toward the end. The only real notable thing, I guess, if you want to call it that, is that there's this episode where all of Butch Hartman's creations combine into one episode. Like Danny Phantom is in this one episode, The Fairly Odd Parents, Tough Puppy, and yeah, just everyone's there. And yeah, it's terrible. Don't get me wrong, it is pretty bad. So yeah, yeah. Oh, I'd probably put it in F tier. Honestly, this one is just annoying as sin. And yeah, anyway, let me see if this is the right one. Pig, Goat, Banana, Cricket. Surprisingly enough, this is also very annoying, and just noise, and all that stuff. It's just so bland and annoying. I can't even. It's awful. It's terrible. So yeah, once again, another F tier. If I can move it right there, yep, right over there. Breadwinners. Now this show, surprising enough, a lot of people don't necessarily like. I thought this was actually pretty interesting, at least. I mean, is it the best thing Nickelodeon's made? Absolutely not. But I can attest that this show is pretty decent and is not absolute cancer like, these other two shows. Is it loud and is it annoying? Sometimes, but I mean, you get some good character developments, which I gotta say is desperately needed, especially for modern day Nickelodeon. So yeah, actually not absolute cancer. That being said, it is fairly annoying. It's not completely annoying. I'm going to put it low C tier, actually. I know, shocking. Something in early, later 2010s or something, Nickelodeon's actually good. I know, shocking. Tough Puppy. Now, this is a show, oh boy, that gained a lot of sort of weird controversy, and some people like it, some people don't. Excuse me, I don't know what the hell that was. Anyway, I actually really do enjoy this show. I used to watch this show as a kid, and it wasn't that bad. Is it as good as Danny Phantom? No. Okay. I'm not going to say that. It's also created by Butch Hartman. This is also the show where, he starts getting heavy into sound effects and all that. Surprising enough, I watched this show as a kid, and I watched a couple episodes as an adult. And surprising enough, I still laugh at a couple of these jokes. Some of these jokes are just so bizarre and so stupid and so just off the cuff, just rapid, that I found it to be hilarious. It's actually pretty good comedy. And I gotta admit, the cat girl, there was some controversy where people were kind of like, simping for the cat girl and all that. Whatever. Let's just say that I included her as a character in some of my make-believe fan fictions or whatever, that type of thing. I didn't know sex, no, nothing like that, just to be clear. Anyway, I wasn't that deluded as a kid. Anyway, though, I think this show is actually pretty decent. So without further ado, B tier it's not the best, because we got a lot to go, and there's certainly some that's even better. But overall, not that bad. And for 2 seasons, I mean, it's actually a pretty decent show. Something I would recommend. The Penguins of Madagascar. This is a show that I have not seen. I heard that this is apparently better than the film, which I have seen, and the Madagascar films series as well. So maybe I'll check it out, but I have not seen that show. The Mighty Bee. Oh gosh, okay. So as a kid, I was a very big consistency snob, I guess. If you're going to show me a character who is trying to collect badges, I want to see this person collect all these badges, and a lot of the show has nothing to do with her collecting badges. It's just her being kind of annoying. And that's what I thought as a kid. Today, apparently there's some new life coming into this show. Some people are like saying, oh yeah, it's not that bad. It's actually pretty good. I can see where they're coming from. Trust me, I can see where they're coming from. However, there is also this, it's got this animation style that's very, very similar to, what is it? This Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack. No, what is it? Stop motion. No stop motion in this show, but it's like a lot of gross out humor and all that, and it's done in like a lot of their animation is done in not necessarily a good, like, appealing kind of way. It's just kind of ugly and gross, which could work. I don't necessarily like those types of shows. I mean, there's very, very few shows where I would consider them being actually good. But yeah, I don't really like watching gross out humor. I mean, I know Nickelodeon's known for gross out humor. I get it. But This one took it to a whole new level. I don't know. It's a required taste. I get it. And it's not, it's not my cup of tea. Let's put it that way. So because of that, it's not a bad show. Let me just say that too. It's not a terrible show. It's just not my cup of tea. So I'm putting it in C tier, and all that stuff. El Tigre. Now this show I did not watch as a kid, but I've recently come back to as an adult, and it's actually done with a lot of love. It's done by Hispanics as well, like real Mexicans, I guess, and they're talking a lot about Mexican folklore and all that type of thing. It's actually very interesting to watch and look at. At first, when I was a kid, I was like, this doesn't look that great. But as an adult, I'm like, oh shoot, this is like pretty decent stuff right here. And it's like new, it's like vibrant, and I'm like, oh heck yeah, here we go. Thank you. So yeah, it's not the best, of course, but it's done with a lot of love, and it's done with, a lot of care, which a lot of Nickelodeon shows, especially Nick shows when this show was premiering and all that, didn't really feel like it. It just felt like, what is it? It just felt like something someone did in order to get some cash. And yeah, so without further ado, this is done with so much love. I'm going to put it in technically A tier. Although quality-wise, I'd probably put it like in B tier, in my opinion. But just the fact there's so much love done with this show, it's A tier. A tier all day. All day. The X's. I gotta admit, I didn't really like this show all that much. It's just kind of boring in my opinion. There's a lot of weird animation here too. It's like very flashy and all that. Putting it in D tier. Enough said about that. This show, Cat Scratch, I have never seen, so we're putting it in haven't seen. My Life's Teenage Robot. This show, once again, I got some feels in, and I included Jenny XJ9 in my fan fiction. So there's that too. My little play time and all that. I don't know if that means I loved her or something. I don't know. Psychology. Anyway. All in all, though, this show is actually not that bad of a show. Like, again, it's got a lot of interesting artistic style to it, especially the backgrounds. It's taking place in like a futuristic modern day, It's like 1950s inspired, but 1950s sci-fi inspired, but also like modern day as well. Like in 2004, it's actually pretty decent. And it's a shame. It is an absolute horror that Netflix or Nickelodeon decided to air season 3 like 5 years after season 2 stopped and all that. Oh my gosh, I terrible. Anyway, I was a big fan of the movie as a kid. The show was kind of, if I had to rank everything, there was a Christmas special, there's the series, and then there's the film. I would say the film is probably like the best thing that they made. Then the show, and then the Christmas special, but they all are pretty high on the ranking, let me put it that way. But anyway, I just love the movie. The movie was just my jam. There's some episodes that are kind of feel a lot of dead air, and it's just like, okay, can we move? Can we go forth? Even as an adult, I'm just like, okay, can we move? Can we get on with the plot here? There's a lot of dead air. Something I would kind of just edit down and be all like, okay, let's move, let's go. Anyway, though, I think that this show is one of the masterworks, in my opinion, that Nickelodeon's made, especially in the early 2000s. So, with that, we're putting this, ladies and gentlemen, A tier. That being said, I do have my criticisms of it, and again, it's not for everybody, but it is just really, really well done, in my opinion. In fact, I'm going to put it high A tier. There we go. The Angry Beavers. Now, this show is actually done pretty well, in my opinion. There's a lot of... In fact, this show is kind of has this conspiracy around it about it being kind of more adult humor, like the most adult humor Nickelodeon allowed up until that point, which is saying a lot because Ren and Stimpy really pushed the bar in a few places, and Angry Beavers really pushed the bar as well. And in fact, I even seen the supposed ending episode that has the beavers like breaking the fourth wall and cussing and swearing and all that. Is actually pretty funny. But yeah, it's just like as an adult, it's just a very chilled show, in my opinion. It's not, is it the most chilled show? Like, would I watch this, going to sleep? Probably not. But it's very laid back, actually, in my opinion. It's very, very nicely well done. So, that being said, yeah. I am currently watching it. It is not on the... I haven't quite 100% finished it. But so far, I think I've done enough to kind of rate it. I'm going to put it in A tier. Again, it could change or fall or whatever, but so far it's A tier. Rocket Power, one of my, as you probably know, Skits is a very big fan of Rocket Power fan fiction. If you know, you know. I have not seen this show, so we're putting it right there. Real Monsters. This is a show that is just balls to the wall, crazy cuckoo shenanigans right here, okay? I mean, they have fun with a lot of their designs, and it goes just crazy. And I really enjoy this show. It's kind of like I would say, sort of a pseudo successor to Monsters, Inc. In my opinion, at least. It's my headcanon, sue me, I don't know. But I think this show is pretty decent, pretty well done. I'm putting it in A tier. There you go. Enough said about that. As Told by Ginger, this takes Nickelodeon cartoons and just kind of reinvents it for the modern age. I don't know if this came out or if Avatar came out first. I forget, but this was during that time when Nickelodeon Animation was just like, what if we did this but changed it a little bit? And yeah, it's exactly like this. And what I've seen the entire show, it's very, very well done, very interesting. It's basically 3 seasons, 3 years of Ginger, and it's told in it's semi-episodic, but also semi chronological. It goes from beginning to end. From beginning to end, it's like you're growing with Ginger. You're growing with this character. And she's a writer, so there's that too. As a pseudo-writer myself, I'm all about the writing, and I'm all about the writer's aspect and all that, and I really appreciate this show. And yeah, there's also some dark, heavy stuff that happens in this show that I was dumbfounded to figure out later as an adult that this happened. But yeah, honestly, this is the best... oh crap, what is this? Kalisuko? I think that's the name of it. That's the best show this production has ever made. Hands down. Hands down. Bring this show back. I mean, the theme song, it slaps. Okay, come on. Now, it's not perfect, but hey, what is, okay? This show, S tier. I love it. I adore this show. Awesome. My Life as a Teenage Robot could be S tier, honestly, but it's just a little too much dead air for me. I don't know. Invader Zim? Okay. Oh, gosh. Here we go. All right. So, there's two specific camps with this show, in my opinion. There's the original show, and then there's the Netflix special, Enter the Floorbus. Now, here's the thing. The show is very dark. It's got a very weird, interesting art design and all that, and I really love the art design. I love how dark it is. It's basically a Hot Topic show. Hot Topic show on Nickelodeon, which is very bizarre. It goes really dark in a few places, like so dark, not that dark shouldn't be on television, honestly. But yeah, so, and I don't hate the show. Let me just be clear. It's just, again, not my cup of tea either. I get it, there's fans for this show. It's actually a pretty good show overall, but it's just, I didn't connect with it for some reason. It's just kind of like a darker Dexter's Lab for the most part, except he's an alien. That's what I think, but anyway. Then we get Enter the Floorbus. This special, this 45-minute thing on Netflix, Nickelodeon partnered with Netflix and all that to create this thing. This, I absolutely love. I can't explain it. Maybe it's because it's got a little bit of a brighter art design and all that. A lot of it has to do with Gurr. I love Gurr in this little thing here. And I mean, Zim finally starts to destroy Earth. And I gotta say, it's perfect. If I was rating the specials on this, it would be S tier. It's that good. It's so hilarious. It's so just bizarre. I love it. However, I would say we're rating both of them. A lot of these episodes are not my cup of tea, but there are some there that's like Enter the Floorbus where I was just like, that is so stupid. And there's a lot of dead air, again, in this show. So, I'm putting this in A tier. Mainly because of, I'm going to put LT Gray right back here. Mainly because of Enter the Floorbus. It's just absolutely great. The show, like half of it's really great. The half of it's not really my cup of tea. But overall, I understand this show is truly awesome for some people. It's just, yeah. Anyway, Hey Arnold, considered to be the Citizen Kane of Nickelodeon cartoons here. I've watched many episodes of the show. I'm still watching them. I gotta say, yeah, I get it. I get why this show is so good. It's very realistic, as realistic as you can be in regards to Nickelodeon cartoons, especially, Nickelodeon cartoons. But anyway, it's very, very interesting. A lot of kids wanted to live in the city because of this and do things like Arnold has done, from what I've read. But yeah, I don't think you want to live in the city. I have lived in the city. I grew up in the city. You don't want to live in a city like that, okay? No, don't do it. But anyway, but yeah, this show is done very lovingly. It's like growing, like, for instance, just a little bit about me, I guess. Many of you probably know. I grew up in Detroit, and it's very reminiscent of what I saw in Detroit with the kids and all that. And I gotta say, it's very down to earth. It's very funny when it wants to be. It's very heartfelt when it wants to be. And I gotta say, even the movie's not really that great, but I still pretty much enjoy it. It's still got the interesting writing and all that. You even have the Jungle movie that was supposed to be made, and it was supposed to have been released in theaters, but they, of course, Nickelodeon didn't because because they're terrible and whatever. Anyway, it finally released on Netflix, and yeah, the Jungle movie is awesome. It wraps up all the loose ends and all that, and you gotta say, you know, pretty decent overall for Hey Arnold. And I gotta say, Hey Arnold, all day, S tier. It's that good. It's, in fact, yeah, it is the Citizen Kane of Nicktoons, and you should watch it. It's not my favorite, but I can see why many people say it's the Citizen Kane of Nicktoons. All right, Rugrats 2021. Oh gosh. So, where to begin with this? So, Rugrats 2021 is a spin-off of Rugrats, the most popular Nickelodeon show other than one who shall not be named until later, who also has a lot of spin-offs these days because the creator tragically passed away. We're not going to talk about that right now. We're talking about Rugrats. So, yeah, they rebooted Rugrats to be not only CGI, which is an atrocious decision because the character designs were created for 2D animation, like very sketchy 2D animation, but now they're very clean CGI ripoffs, look like Charlie Brown done wrong. You know, the Charlie Brown Peanuts film that recently came out, like in 2015 or something. Yeah, it looks that done wrong, let's put it that way. Not only that, but they brought everybody into the modern day. So these parents are Gen Zers or something. The grandpa is from the 70s, which kind of destroys their character from their characters from the show and the films. So there you go. That's just fabulous. But all in all, this show was just very boring. And spoiler alert for Rugrats, I'm going to kind of say Rugrats isn't necessarily the most engaging show either, in my opinion. But, I mean, there's at least a charm to it. This one doesn't have a charm at all. It's very glossy, very clean, very, non-Rugrats-like. So, because of that, and I guess it's technically well made, but overall it's just kind of meh. So without further ado, D tier. It's not offensively bad, like Bunsen is a beast, but it's just sort of a cash grab that, of course, Nickelodeon makes because they're Nickelodeon. The end. Anyway, welcome to the Wayne. This show is the most serialized show Nickelodeon's probably ever made other than Avatar. It's very, very well done. I gotta say, it's criminally underrated. I cannot believe that, A, Nickelodeon made a show like this, and B, Nickelodeon canceled a show like this early, because it's really charming. It's very interesting, you know? The Wayne is like this apartment complex or this hotel or whatever this is, and yeah, they're trying to discover the secrets of this hotel. It's honestly very cute. It's very cute. The jokes maybe don't land all that much. They try to be all, cool with their jokes and all that. Modern day jokes, but honestly, it's not that bad of a show. Yeah, it's actually pretty decent. The animation's a little flashy, not like, super off the wall flashy, but like, use Flash to animate it and all that. It's reminds me a little bit about that. Very simplistic designs for the characters and all that, but honestly, I think that adds to the charm. Yeah, it adds to the charm. So without further ado, criminally underrated in my opinion, I would say, then again, the jokes really don't land a lot. Like maybe 80% of the jokes do not land. A tier all day. It's surprising we got so much A tier these days. Got a lot of F. Interesting. Legend of Korra. Okay. So, I've got a mixed opinion on this show. Here we go. I'm going to keep it short and sweet, but here we go. It's Legend of Korra is not that bad. Okay? It's not as bad as many people say it is. Is it as good as The Last Airbender? Absolutely not. Let me tell you. No. Okay? No. But is it worse than the prequels or anything like that? Or these days the sequel trilogy? No. I don't think so either. There's seasons that are a lot worse than certain aspects of the Avatar universe and all that, but all in all, it's not that bad. Let me tell you, when it gets bad, it gets really bad, okay? Like, for instance, the one thing I will never forgive this show, and for the life of me, I do not understand why the hell they did this, but they severed Korra's tie. I guess is a slight spoiler, but they severed Korra's tie with the rest of the avatars, and they never, ever bring it back. They never bring it back. They never fix it. And I was just like, why? Why would you not do that? Why would you not try to fix? I mean, she goes and tries, but she doesn't actually fix it. What the heck? What am I missing here? Hello? Hello? Can you, fix what you broke, please? I want to see Aang again. Also, they bring back every Avatar person into this show. Even Uncle Iroh. They can't do Aang because, of course, he died, so Korra can, live and all that, but they tried, okay? They tried very hard to bring Aang back, and yeah, with the Force Ghost, they basically brought Aang back. They brought all the characters back, which is just, no. They gotta, what has it been, like 100 years? They have to die. They have to, like, if there's other characters, fine, but don't rely it on the backs of these other characters. It's like, for all those who don't like the sequel trilogy, it's like the sequel trilogy, but yeah. All in all, as much as I hate parts of this show, there are parts that I really do enjoy. Like, the fact that we get to see the first Avatar. I thought that episode was like peak Avatar in my opinion. That's the one aspect where I thought, okay, this show could be as good as The Last Airbender. And all in all, I liked how we got some very small but a seed that will plant a fruitful tree in representation of, different skin colors, different LGBTQ communities and all that, that type of thing. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed how they tried to expand and grow the world rather than just being sequel baits. And I guess it's because of this show and because of, The Last Airbender that we're getting Avatar Studios where they're going to be pumping out a lot of shows and films. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. We're apparently getting this live action adaptation. I'm waiting. Where is it? I'm still waiting. Anyway, though, all in all, this show is not bad. It's just not as good as it should have been. So, B tier right there. I mean, if they resolved some things instead of just dropping them, it could have been better, but overall, there you go. Anyway, Robot and Monster. I have never seen this show. It looks pretty bad, so we're putting it right there. Tak and the Power Juju. Now, this was based on a video game, apparently, a video game series. Apparently, it's got nothing to do with the video games themselves. It kind of deviates from that. I've never played the games, so I can't really divulge a lot of that. This came out the same time as Planet Sheen, and I gotta admit, as a kid, I watched more Planet Sheen because I was a Jimmy Neutron fanatic for a little while. But yeah, it's Tak wasn't necessarily my cup of tea as a kid. Today, it's not terrible. It's not, garbage, but it's not, A-tier status. Let's put it that way. It's got that weird animation style that's kind of ugly and all that. Whatever. And it kind of cultural appropriation there. You can kind of take for that what you will. So, all in all, C tier in my opinion. It's not the best. Certainly not the worst. Like Adventures of Kid Danger. This is oh my gosh. This is probably, and I say this with a lot of garbage in Nickelodeon canon, but this is the worst. This is the worst Nicktoon of all time. This is done in Flash. This has the cringe humor that appears in most, if not all, Nickelodeon, comedic shows or whatever, sitcom crap. It's so terrible. I couldn't find any redeeming value to it whatsoever. And a lot of it is annoying. It's very just annoying. They try to be annoying. They get there. A lot of it doesn't land, though. Like, they try to be like Bunsen is a Beast or Pig, Goat, Banana, Cricket, whatever. But it just doesn't land. It's so weird. They try to be cringe, but they can't get as far as Pig, Goat, Banana, Cricket, It's very weird. F tier all day, but yeah, I can't believe it. They tried to be cringe, but they couldn't land the cringe. Shocking, I know. Anyway, Rise of the TMNT, a lot of people's favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show. And I gotta say, it's a lot better than the 80s cartoon. I know, sacrilege! But yeah, it's actually not that bad of a show, and it's kind of serialized as well. It's done with a mostly African American cast, which I gotta say, you're mixing it up a little bit, pretty nice. It doesn't have to be white people all the time. It gets boring after a while. I mean, yeah, there you go. I like all the characters. I especially like they completely redesigned a few characters, like not Michelangelo, Raphael. He's like a giant hulking turtle now, like a big brute. I like that. Thank you. Okay, we're getting good. We're getting stuff done here. I like the fact that it's funny while being dramatic. This is actually, oh gosh, dare I say it, Avatar equivalent to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yep, I said it. Yeah, there is Mutant Mayhem, which is technically, they had the Spider-Verse animation, which, yeah, that one was fine as well, but there's this that is just probably one of the best Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shows of all time. And the film, they even went, I'll tell you, they canceled this thing. Nickelodeon canceled this thing, and literally a couple years after they canceled this thing, they made a film kind of finishing off the whole series, and it was in theaters like this year, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's how big of a fan base that this show has. Wow. Just, I could not believe it. I could not believe that actually happened. But anyway, yeah, this is the peak level of TMNT. Oh, gosh. Where do I put it? It's going to be high up on the list, don't get me wrong. Is it S tier or A tier? Ugh. Because the film really did it great. Really finished out the series really great. Okay. I'll give in to the fans. It's S tier. There you go. Really nice. Anyway, Sanjay and Craig. This is a show that I watched as a kid. Oh, gosh. I wonder why my parents allowed me to watch this as a kid, because this is just stupid. It's so dumb. This is like one of the stupidest shows I've ever seen as a kid. That being said, a lot of people don't like this show. Maybe it's nostalgia goggles. I don't know. But I've seen every episode of this show. It gets crazy. It gets insane. It's going off of that Adventure Time humor. Not unsuccessfully. It goes a little bit more like, crazy. Gets a little bit more insane. Which, yeah, really nice, really well done. It's got a talking snake in it. The talking snake is Craig, if you will. He's, I don't know, my spirit animal. Sanjay, we got some representation there a little bit where his parents are like Indian, like actual from India and all that. So there's that. Although, I don't know. Anyway, so all in all, I really do. I can't believe I'm saying this. I really do like this show. It's so stupid. It's like Family Guy mixed with Adventure Time. You get this show. And Nickelodeon. You get this show. So, I'm not going to put it in S tier because, no, by all means, it is not perfect. Let me tell you. Okay, I get why people don't like this show. But, it's really good. It's really, really good. Oh, it's just borderline A tier, but should I put it in A tier? I got Tough Puppy in B tier. I'm putting it in B tier. But I cannot stress this enough. Really, just, it's one of my favorites. Let me put it that way. All right, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2012. I gotta admit, I have seen one episode, but I don't think I can judge it based on that one episode. So we're going to put it in didn't watch. I plan on watching it, but I got to watch all the rest of these that I'm, halfway through or 75% through and all that. Like, yeah. Anyway, Planet Sheen. Like I said earlier, Attack the Power Juju. I watched Planet Sheen more as a kid. I gotta sneak this from my parents because they didn't really like Planet Sheen either. I can see why these days. It's very annoying. It's missing the charm and humor of Jimmy Neutron. I gotta admit, the animation's better. That's why I kind of watched it, because the animation's better. And I kind of like the stupid Sheen-ness to it. But the one joke that they tell throughout this show gets old real fast. And, of course, they had to bring in poor Rob Paulsen into this again, because Carl's back, except he's an alien. But they had to bring Rob Paulsen back, because, you get a name like Rob Paulsen, you gotta get him in here, And he played Carl, so why not just have him play Carl again? Except he's an alien slug thing, which is very weird. Very, very bizarre. So, I would prefer Jimmy Neutron season, I don't even know what it is. Next season of Jimmy Neutron over this stuff. No wonder it got canceled. I'm not going to say it's downright terrible. It gets there. Trust me, it gets there. But is it D- or F+? I might anger some of you guys. D-. Yep, I put it in right there. Surprisingly enough, I didn't cringe that much while watching this show. It's actually, some jokes actually landed for me. I'm sorry. It's the way it is. I don't know. Fanboy and Chum Chum, yeah, F tier. F tier all day. Let me explain a few things, though. I was a big superhero nut as a kid. And even today. Yes, superhero fatigue is real. Yes, Martin Scorsese made a really great film, and, it's kind of didn't really land at the box office. Rightfully so. Anyway, because superhero movies are cinema. Anyway, enough of that tangent. I was a huge superhero fan as a kid, so I was like, oh, kids who are superheroes? Heck yeah, let's watch it. I watched it, and it's got ugly animation. Worst thing about it is, it looks like it's Flash, but CGI. I don't know how they did it. It's ugly as sin. It's annoying as sin. It's probably one of the most annoying things on this show. If it wasn't for Henry Danger, they cannot do superhero shows. Nickelodeon cannot do superhero shows. I'm putting it out there. You cannot do superhero shows. Stop making superhero shows, Nicktoons. But yeah, anyway, Fanboy and Chum Chum, it's terrible. It's as terrible as you thought it was. But yeah, anyway. Avatar: The Last Airbender, I mean, of course. What do you think? What do you think about this show that anyone on the internet has not already said? Hey, S tier, what are you talking about? This is one of my favorite shows of all time, period, okay? It's got so much... Oh, I got... Yeah, cut that out. It's got so much serialization. It's got a beginning, middle, and end. It's got drama. It's got the funnies. It's got everything. It's the most well-rounded show Nickelodeon has ever made. If Henry Danger is the worst that Nickelodeon could ever possibly make, Avatar: The Last Airbender is absolutely the best they could ever make, period. It's so good. It's so good. Anyway. Danny Phantom. This is a show that's probably Butch Hartman's best show. I'm putting it out there. Yep, I said it. Butch Hartman, best show is Danny Phantom. I said it, yeah. It's not up there with Avatar, but it's sort of like his interpretation of Ben 10. Kind of. And I suppose he's technically a superhero too. He's got ghost powers, so there's that. Anyway. So, yeah, Butch Hartman made a kind of Ben 10 clone where Kid and his sister sort of battle ghosts and all that type of stuff. And his friends battle ghosts and all that stuff. It's got a lot of Ben 10 vibes. I don't know how, because they're basically teenagers, but still, anyway. I'd say this is peak level Butch Hartman. This is the best of Fairly Odd Parents Butch Hartman, but at the same time, he couldn't, destroy it like he did with Fairly Odd Parents later on. It's pretty well done, honestly. It's culminating toward this final boss battle that I don't think we ever get, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't think we ever get the final boss battle. It's got drama. It's got drama that I was actually sticking to the floor for. I was like, what? Drama in a Butch Hartman show? Are you kidding me right now? It's actually kind of gripping? What? Huh? Anyway. So yeah, I'm putting this in not S tier because there is some problems with it, of course. It gets a lot of cringe. There's some cringe like all Butch Hartman stuff. But putting it in A tier, still a great show overall. Highly recommend it. It's, dare I say, it's better than Invader Zim. Yeah, I said it. Sue me. Kablam. I've seen inserts. Haven't seen it, though. I gotta finish all these other shows. Anyway, though. Jimmy Neutron. But you're just a Jimmy Neutron boy genius. Come on now. What are you talking about? Come on now. This is more Phi than Psi, let me tell you. But it's basically on par with Quantumania as being so far fantasy than actual science. Although they try to explain, yeah, it's actually science, but it's not science. It's not at all science. But come on now. It's got weird CGI. That's the one thing that's got it going against it. But it's so stupid. Like I said, a lot of Nickelodeon shows are so stupid, but it's got a lot of charm to it. I can't really put my finger on it, but it's got a lot of charm to it. Like I said, Planet Sheen, it's fine, but it's missing that charm that, you know, all these characters, all these voice actors tended to put into these characters, like with Carl, like with Jimmy, like with Jimmy's mom. I mean, come on now. There's so many memes. And it's done in a loving way and not in a crushing kind of way either. It's so well done. And personally, I think the show is better than the film. There was a film that was made. It's one of the 2 Nickelodeon films that was actually made into a series afterward. We'll get into the other one. Oh, definitely we'll get into the other one. But anyway, this is just, they went balls to the wall. They had a crossover with, you know, Timmy from Fairly Odd Parents, and that's probably peak level Nickelodeon, at least in my book. But yeah, this show is great. Oh gosh, it's very serialized, but oh gosh. Why is this so difficult? I want to put it in A tier, but I can't think of anything really wrong with it. I mean, other than the CGI, that's not necessarily all that great, but it's still really, really well done. Okay, S tier, fine. For nostalgia's sake. Cat Dog, I watched this show as a kid as well. It is so weird. It's so bizarre. It's very episodic. It's literally telling one joke, and it works. Honestly, it's very much a. I used to get this mixed up with the earlier Cartoon Network shows, like oh gosh, what was that one with the big giant dog, that gray dog that just sits there all the time, and then there's this small dog that just runs around all the place. I kept on getting those confused. I don't know why. But I don't know. Anyway, I thought it was really decent, very well done overall. So with that, I'm going to put in B tier. It wasn't... I have a hard time remembering this show, honestly. I probably have to go back and remember it. But for all those that I remember, it's not that bad. It's just that one joke over and over again. Dog is attached to cat. You know? So, B tier. Rocko's Modern Life, I got to admit, if you were to tell me what Nicktoon is my favorite Nicktoon, other than Avatar, of course, it would be Rocko's Modern Life, okay? I love this show. It's got the best of the weird, obscure, just balls-to-the-wall hilarity that's something that, I don't know, SpongeBob's got, or, what's another crazy cartoon? Sanjay and Craig, even, okay? This is balls-to-the-wall humor. But it's also got some heart to it, you know? It's like Ren and Stimpy. If Ren and Stimpy, you know, was a little bit more down to earth and a little bit more streamlined. That's what I love about this show. It's, you know, the 90s in cartoon form and all the wacky shenanigans that it absorbs and all that. It's a great show. And I love the Wallaby. Rocco's a Wallaby. I don't know what a Wallaby is, but he's Rocco. There you go. So yeah, of course, S tier. In fact, I put it right next to Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's that great of a show. Fairly Odd Parents. Oh gosh, okay. So, the first few seasons of this show are excellent, very well done. The show really tapers off and really becomes terrible. Okay, it gets real bad. Maybe it's because of Butch. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I wasn't in the room where it happened. But yeah, it's got a lot of creative ideas to it, especially in the first few seasons. But overall, I gotta take the whole show into account, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's going in B tier, below Sanjay and Craig. I know, sacrilege. But that's just my thoughts. You guys think differently, which I think you do. Please come and let me know. Anyway, Doug. This is Hey Arnold done poorly. It's got a lot of cuckoo crazy character designs and sucks. It's very boring. Of all the Nicktoons that Disney were to purchase, they bought Doug. Why did they buy Doug? They could have bought SpongeBob. They could have bought... They would never buy Ren and Stimpy. They would buy, I don't know, Rugrats. Why did they buy Doug? My gosh. No. It's very, very boring. C tier. I know there's an audience for it, but C tier. It's very... Surprising enough, Nickelodeon show is boring. Yeah, I said it. It's boring. Ren and Stimpy. A show that's not boring by any stretch of the imagination. This is basically... oh, gosh. Family Guy, if it was a Nickelodeon cartoon, and it's done with a very well done animation, especially for the time. It's very crazy. In fact, it was so crazy, the story's really crazy, the animation was really crazy, to the point where they were, I guess, delivering their episodes very late. But that's because of a certain person that shall remain nameless, because he didn't do so many great things behind the scenes and later on, especially. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the show itself. And honestly, I really do enjoy this show. I think it's a little too over the top. Goes a little too insane to the point of pure absurdity. And I don't know why, okay? Call me crazy. I liked Planet Sheen. Planet Sheen's cuckoo craziness. But Ren and Stimpy's a little too cuckoo crazy, okay? This is something for, like, you know, stoners to watch. A lot of adults love to watch this show. I get that it's got a fan base, but I'm sorry, it's just not my cup of tea. There's some episodes that are great, and I love the animation style. It's just very, very crazy. It's so hard to watch an episode. It's hard to binge this show. You gotta watch an episode, like, every day. You kind of have to refresh. It's like Game of Thrones, but in the opposite end of the spectrum. I don't know why. It's just that crazy shenanigans. So I'm putting it in B tier. Don't come at me in the comments, please. It's just my opinion. If you would rate it, where would you put it? Let me know. Harvey Beaks. This is a very nice, very chill show. I can't explain it. It's just that good. From the creator of Chowder, it's very nice. What can I say? It's a nice show. It was criminally canceled because Nickelodeon's the way it is. They rate everything on SpongeBob levels. Hardly any show can be SpongeBob unless you cultivate it and all that. It's stupid. Anyway, though, criminally underrated. A tier. All day. Actually, El Tigre below Harvey Beaks right there. Anyway. All Grown Up. Spoiler alert for all those who... I don't know how you're going to really like this take here. I actually enjoy All Grown Up more than Rugrats. I know. Shocking. Just when they're babies and they're just sitting there and they've got, oh, I got a poo-poo in my diaper. What am I going to do? How am I going to get rid of it? And there's all these imagination crap, and then all of a sudden the parent comes in and changes them. There you go. I don't know, man. What can I say? What can I say about Rugrats? We're not talking about Rugrats. We're talking about All Grown Up. This one is actually slightly better. It's very 2000s, let me tell you. The opening theme song, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. All day. S tier for the theme song. The show, I get it. It's not everyone's cup of tea. It's a little bit They deal with the characters a little iffy, to say the least. They're I guess they're in elementary school or like middle school or something, but yeah, I don't care. It's, from what I remember, this show, really, really well done. I gotta say, it's very well done. Very, very 2000 show, let me tell you, okay? But with that being said, it's got some charm. I gotta tell you, it's got a lot of charm to it. So without further ado, I'm gonna put it high B tier, above Fairly Odd Parents. Yep, I did that. Rugrats, the show. Oh gosh. Like I was alluding to, this show is very, it's a required taste. I know a lot of people liked it. It's just boring. I really didn't like the show as a kid. It was very, very dry. And unless you're a parent, you can't really watch this show and kind of do all that type of thing. And oh gosh, man, it was a slog to get through. I don't know how this got so many followers. It's just so boring. It's just the poo-poo in my diaper, and what am I gonna do about the poo-poo in my diaper? And then the parent changes them and is like, oh, okay, it's all fine now. Angelica is probably the best part of the show, in my opinion. She's just so cruel. I've loved her so much. I don't know why. Anyway, though, yeah, it's fine. The movies I liked better, surprisingly. Probably because they actually deal with, actual stuff, and they're not just sitting in the playpen or doing random crap in the yard. All in all, I do think it is better than the Rugrats 2021. I will give it that. But it's just boring, man. It's gonna be my most weird thing here. I'm putting it in C tier. I know. Come at me in the comments. I'm sorry. Anyway, though, the Patrick Star Show. Oh gosh. Here we go. So, Steven Hillenburg said he didn't want any spin-offs of his SpongeBob creation. The Sponge, that's basically the Mickey Mouse of Paramount. And while he was alive, we didn't get any. But now, unfortunately, he passed away. And because Paramount is a studio that loves to just drive franchises to the ground, we got the Patrick Star Show. Because of course we did. And this show is not funny by any stretch of the imagination. Apparently, it's supposed to take place slightly before SpongeBob, or after SpongeBob. I don't even know. It's not supposed to take place in continuity with SpongeBob. But I think it's supposed to take place before SpongeBob, I think. Because SpongeBob's got this weird hair now. And yeah, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. The timeline doesn't make a lot of sense. Mainly because, and I have to admit, okay, here's the thing I have to admit. It's got 2D animation. One thing that we'll miss in the later on. But it's got 2D animation. It looks like it could be a SpongeBob successor. That being said, it's not funny. It's not funny at all. There's maybe one joke that I actually laughed at the very end of the first episode. It's like, who is this guy? And they're like, I don't know. But yeah, he's making his own show in this box. Okay. Anyway, it's not funny. It doesn't have the charm of, Golden Age of SpongeBob. It's just crap. That being said, it's got 2D animation. There's a very few, but there are a few jokes where I actually chuckled at. So, D tier. There you go. Chalk Zone. Love Chalk Zone. It's a really great show. Really stupid. This should be what Rugrats was, okay? They transport to another world in chalk. Come on now. Yeah. I mean, I was a big fan of PBS shows back in the day where they were transported to other worlds and all that. Dragon Tales, anybody? Magic School Bus, anybody? Although I don't think it was on PBS. But yeah, transported to other worlds. I love that gimmick. Shock Zone's no disheartening here either. So without further ado, it gets an A tier. Yep. A tier all day. LT grade goes lower. I'm sorry, I'm pushing LT grade down, but whatever. Wild Thornberries. It's actually pretty decent. It's actually a pretty well done show. I still say As Told by Ginger is the best classy soup co. That's that thing, yeah. That studio's made, but still, this show is probably their second best. Yep, it is their second best in my opinion. I mean, it's even got freaking Tim Curry as the main father in this show. I mean, come on. It's that great of a show, okay? And she can talk to animals. It's kind of like a sort of like a Nickelodeon interpretation of a PBS show, like the Wild Kratts or something like that. It's actually pretty interesting. You know, I can't believe a Nickelodeon show is teaching me something. But there's that. And I really enjoy this show. It's not necessarily S tier because the movies, they kind of weigh it down. They make it something it's not necessarily what it's supposed to be. In that Rugrats Wild Thornberries crossover was kind of iffy to say the least as well. So again, putting it in A tier. Let me see here. Yep, putting it in A tier. There you go. Oh, Big Nate. This is a sort of like a pseudo Diary of a Wimpy Kid type of deal. I think it's a book series, if I'm not mistaken. So far, I've only seen one season. I don't know if they canceled it or not, but I've seen that one season, and it's done in a very loving tribute to the creator and all that. I would say it's on par with the books, surprisingly, to say the least. I can't believe I'm saying that, especially it's Nickelodeon. But yeah, Big Nate's pretty good. It's not S tier, but it's not B tier. It's not like, it's not something I wish I didn't necessarily see. It's a little cringe. But yeah, I say Big Nate's another A tier. We're getting really decent stuff here. All right. I don't know what this is. Did not watch this. Middlemost Post, I have not seen. It looks like I wouldn't like it. Back to the Barnyard. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, let me tell you something, okay? I watched the movie Barnyard as a kid. It was fine. It was a very, very sad movie, to say the least. There's death in it. Yeah, death in Barnyard. But then I watched the show. And the show is just balls to the wall, just humor. It is it's basically Family Guy, but without the cutaways. And they go so far. They go probably the farthest. They go as far as they could possibly push it. And I love it for that. It's so awesome. There's so many memes. The memes in this show. This was before they had meme culture. This was done in love. My gosh, man. My gosh. Snotty Boy. I laugh like him all the time. I laugh like him all the time, man. It's so great. This show is a cult classic. It's criminally underrated. The CGI is a little but it's a lot better than Jimmy Neutron's CGI, in my opinion, at least. But yeah, it's so good. I love this show. This is like I said, other than Avatar, like I said with a couple of these shows, this might be my favorite show. Oh, no, it's my second favorite after Rocco. So, yeah, this one, we're getting the big three. The big three, ladies and gentlemen, right here. Avatar, Rocco, back with the barnyard. It's so uncanny awesomeness. It's perfect humor. Gosh, perfect humor. So good. Yeah, I don't know what this is. Is this, let me see here. No, that's not Transformers. That's something else. Haven't seen it. Put it right there. The Loud House. The second biggest show right now. I mean, first it was Fairly Odd Parents, of course, but yeah, if you see TV these days, you would see SpongeBob, of course, but then you would also see The Loud House. And they've actually made a live-action adaptation show called The Really Loud House. Joy. Anyway, I'm also going to group the other spin-off show that they did where one of, Lincoln Loud's crushes or something, she spun off into her own show in like this spin-off city and all that, and the Casa Grandes, there we go, that's the name of it. That apparently got canceled, of course. I mean, why would it not be canceled, Anyway, though, The Loud House. I gotta admit, when this show started, I was actually really liking this show. I gotta admit it. There's this one episode that did what I wish the entire Rugrats would have done, where they're basically waiting out a rainy day, and the entire family is just seeing how long they can go without doing their, I guess, more infamous stuff. Like, I don't know, Lincoln's trying to read his comics with pants on. Yeah, there's that. But it's so well done. It's so well written. And it's funny. It's charming. It's got heart. And a little bit of bias here. I have a huge family. And I grew up in Michigan as well, Detroit. So this show was made for me, okay? They're not homeschooled, but they might as well be, okay? They're always staying at home and all that. It's so good. I really did enjoy this show. Until, I guess, Nickelodeon realized what they had at their disposal. And yeah, it turned out to not be that great. It kind of fell off. They made a movie, which was... I watched the first maybe 2 seasons of the show. I watched up until they showed the parents. They used to not show the parents' faces, but then they showed the parents' faces. And I kept on returning every once in a while, and I gotta admit, they don't just focus on Lincoln anymore. They focus on each of these characters. And I gotta say, they were really good. Like, the first, 2 or 3 seasons were really, really well done. But I guess it's the Nickelodeon Nicktoons curse that every show that's past 3 seasons tends to not necessarily do all that great these days. Because I watched the movie, and my gosh, it's a train wreck. Holy crap. There's music that sucks. They introduce dragons and ghosts and all that crap to this universe, which up until this point had nothing to do with magic or anything. But it was, oh gosh, I haven't even seen the, what is it? I haven't even seen the live action show, but yeah, I heard it wasn't that great either. Sorry about that. I had to restart to get some voice rest. But anyway, all that being said about The Loud House, I think it's, from what I've seen, it was actually pretty good. And then it just went off the deep end, kind of like Fairly Odd Parents. So for that reason, where did I put Fairly Odd Parents? B tier? I'm putting Loud House in B tier as well. Surprising enough, a lot better than it has any right to be. If I can put it there. There we go. But yeah, it fell off. If it was the consistent amount of quality and the movie didn't suck and they didn't start ripping off Loud House to the point where it's basically the new SpongeBob, then I would put it in S tier. But because of all that, it's B tier. Transformers Earthbound, I think that's the name of it. I have not seen this, so we're going to put it right there. It's on my list. I heard it's really good. That's why I'm going to give it a chance, but still haven't watched it. Oh gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, Camp Coral. Oh my gosh, this is a train wreck. This is the worst. This is the worst. Oh gosh, I've seen this. Unfortunately, I've seen all this show, and it's just terrible. They're apparently, I don't know. I've heard conflicting reports that they're going to keep on going, but yeah. Apparently, this was like a huge thing for the third SpongeBob movie, because yeah, they made a third SpongeBob movie with Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves is the best part of that whole movie. It sucks, other than Keanu Reeves, but anyway. Yeah, they made this huge thing about SpongeBob being at camp called Camp Coral, and this is the show. My gosh, it's awful. It's terrible. The CGI animation is just awful. Mr. Krabs is he's the camp counselor for some reason. Sandy Squirrel is there, and she's, at camp with SpongeBob, even though, canonically, SpongeBob met Sandy in season 1 when they were sort of semi-adults. So, yeah. All in all, it's garbage. I did laugh a couple times, but then again, that's neither here nor there. It's cringe. Oh gosh. I will put it high F tier though, if I can. Here we go. There we go. That's what I'm wanting here. That's not what I want here. I don't know. My computer's acting real slow. But anyway. It's high F tier, but still F tier nonetheless. Wix, I have not seen Wix. It's Pony. I actually watched this show because I was starving for some Nicktoons, some new Nicktoons, and I was like, well, they're going to cancel this show. Might as well watch it while it's still on the air. And so far, this was the only Nicktoon at that point. I think it was 2018 or something, or 2017, when there was, Nicktoons actually out, like a new Nicktoon actually out. So I watched this show, and it's a different vibe, but there's a reason. It's because they imported this show from another country. I forget what it is. I think it's England, or I think it's Canada or something like that. It's got a different vibe. But other than that, it's really boring. I gotta say, it's not funny. The animation's cute and all that, but it is just so boring. Nothing really happens. It's like Big City Greens without the funny and without the style and all that, It's just so idiotically boring. I hated myself watching it. I lost a few hours of watching it. A few good hours of my life watching this show. That being said, it wasn't cringe and I didn't hate myself watching it. Or I didn't, regret all the cringe and crap watching it. There wasn't any cringe like Pig Goat Banana Cricket or Bunksons of Beast or Camp Coral or Fanboy and Chum Chum. All that stuff, For that being said, I'm going to put it in D tier. Above Patrick Star Show, because of course. Put it high D tier, though. If I can. Why isn't this working here? Come on. There we go. Yeah. Hard. Anyway, though, there's that at least. Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesomeness. Not seen it. I guess you could tell I haven't seen a lot of DreamWorks shows because, I didn't think they were technically Nicktoons, but apparently Legends of Awesome, that's pretty good. So I'll have to check that out. I don't know. Might as well just put this, see the Monsters vs. Aliens show on here. We're just going to put that right there because I have not seen that. And the last two that I have seen. Star Trek Prodigy, probably the best Nicktoon in a very, very long time, let me tell you, okay? I would say it's even better than Welcome to the Wayne. And Welcome to the Wayne, I'm a pretty decent fan of. But yeah, this show is basically, I don't know, Star Trek Rebels. Or Star Wars Rebels, but Star Trek. But then again, Star Wars Rebels was basically Star Trek in animated form, but whatever. Anyway, Star Trek Prodigy is just a charming show. It's really nice and very nicely detailed. In fact, I was kind of disheartened that Nickelodeon canceled it because of course they did. Are you kidding me? It's not SpongeBob, so they have to cancel it. It's a requirement, apparently. And then they had the sheer gall to use this as a tax write-off. Oh my gosh. No. Oh wow. They went the HBO Max route. They went the David Zaslav route where they had tax write-offs from this crap. Tax write-offs on this good show. Tax write-offs on the good shows. And not the tax write-offs on the bad shows, like Velma. My gosh, man. Or The Flash. They didn't do a tax write-off on The Flash. Holy crap. That's still Warner Bros. And all that. But apparently Warner Bros. And Paramount are trying to merge. Joy. That's just great, David and his Zaslavness. Anyway, all that being said and done, though, without anything else, this show is really, really good, especially for kids. If your kids want to get into Star Trek, it's got the aliens, it's got all that stuff, it's got teamwork, it's got building together and all that. I actually really do enjoy it. I prefer Star Trek Lower Decks, but then again, that's like a Rick and Morty type of deal, like an adult cartoon, quote unquote, adult cartoon. But still, this show is not bad at all. In fact, I think the quality of it is the best thing Nick has made in a while. And of course, that's the reason why they canceled it, because it's just that good. And of course, they won awards, but whatever. It's good, so we gotta cancel it. So, I'm still gonna put it in A tier, just slightly above Welcome to the Wayne. Because if you're not a fan of Star Trek, you wouldn't necessarily pick this up necessarily, but yeah, still a great show. Last but not least, the reason why there's so many canceled shows these days on Nick, SpongeBob SquarePants. The guy, the thing that lives in the pineapple under the sea. the thing, oh gosh, anyway, so I actually did not watch this show as a kid. Thank God, because I think I would have one brain cell left. But as an adult watching this show, it's really good, okay? Especially the first 3 seasons. The first 3 seasons of the show would be S tier. They would be just borderline Avatar: The Last Airbender, okay? That's how insanely good these first 3 seasons are. Chocolate with nuts? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? What is that one? The Squidward's Band or what? Band Geeks? Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. No, this show should not be that good. But it is. And then there's that Imagination, whatever that thing is, where they SpongeBob and Patrick are in the box or something, and yeah, amazingness. And there's this whole thing where SpongeBob and Patrick are just, waiting on the conch cult or whatever. Oh. Amazing episodes. That being said, there's 5 more that are just terrible. I gotta admit, though, there's some that are not... There's some episodes, I think it's a little bit overblown, that are not that bad. But then there are some, especially these days, where they're just making SpongeBob for the sake of making SpongeBob. In fact, I dare say, it gets worse than bad Simpsons episodes. Yeah, I'm not even kidding you. It's that bad. It's truly awful. There are some episodes, though, like some movies and stuff, where they're actually not that bad. But those are only in special episodes and all that, like The Simpsons do, or used to do and all that. Special episodes, like the movies and all that, some of them aren't really that bad. Especially the SpongeBob Christmas, where it's like claymation. I really like that. I'm sorry. I know it's a gimmick, but I thought it was pretty good. I got a friend or foe. I'm a friend or foe fan, if you will. Even though technically that special is just very basic. Very, very basic. It plays out exactly how you would think, and it's not funny, but I'm a fan of it. I kept on seeing the advertisements as a kid. Probably nostalgia, sue me. Other than that, okay. If the quality of the 3 seasons weren't so high, it would probably be D tier. I'm not kidding. It's the later seasons are that bad. They are truly horrendous television. But because the first 3 seasons are probably the funniest things I've ever seen, including with Rocko's Modern Life, okay? Including Back at the Barnyard. It's because of Back at the Barnyard that it's because of SpongeBob we even had Back at the Barnyard to begin with, okay? But because of that, gosh, okay. I'm gonna put it above The Loud House, above Ren and Stimpy, in B tier. Above Cat Dog, too. But yeah, SpongeBob, overall, it's got a legacy, but it should have ended in Season 3. But anyway, though, guys, that's the list. That's the Nicktoons list. I know I got a lot to watch, but still, not a bad list if I do say so myself. And I know a lot of people are probably going to agree with it. A lot of people would probably put SpongeBob higher, but I gotta go with my gut, guys. Gotta go with my gut. Anyway, though, what do you guys think? Should SpongeBob be higher or lower? It's kind of up to you. Where would you put stuff on the list? Why don't you let me know in the comments down below? Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell. More vids come your way. And hey, take care, guys.